For over 1,000 years, Western civilization has been stuck in a dark age of sexual repression and misinformation. We get an oversexed overload from the media, but nothing in the way of honest, helpful, practical information on sex and how to do it right. That sucks, and I'm fucking sick of it. My name's JV Altheras, and I've spent a couple decades learning everything I can about how to have amazing sex and more of it. Not in a classroom like a lot of people who talk about sex. I learned it all in the gutter, right where Mom told me I'd end up. It's my mission to bring an end to the sexual dark age with brutally honest talk and education on all aspects of sex and sexuality, in an atmosphere that will keep you entertained without treating you like an idiot. Shara and I are not doctors. Certifiable, perhaps, but not certified in any way. And that means we don't have to talk about vaginas and penises to maintain academic credibility. You got a problem with a vagina? Call a gynecologist. You want to learn more about pussies and cocks and how to make them happy? You've come to the right place. Ending the Sexual Dark Age is now sponsored by the internet's most trusted name in adult toys. A happy pussy likes to play more often. AdamandEve.com is offering you guys half off on your choice of thousands upon thousands of vibrators and dildos and cock rings and strap-ons, nipple clamps, porn DVDs, butt plugs, pocket pussies, anything else you can imagine to either get yourself off or have some fun with your playmate. As always, we highly recommend making sex toys part of your sex life, and right now, AdamandEve.com is only asking for one chance to impress you. They're offering an awesome deal in support of ending the sexual dark age, and the whole thing goes a little like this. By typing Dark Age, all one word, for the offer code at checkout, you will get 50% off the most expensive item in your cart, with a few exceptions, free shipping, 3 free porn DVDs, and a sexy free mystery gift. Free DVDs are selected randomly and added to your order before they ship. AdamandEve.com is willing to damn near pay you to get off. So stop by, enter DARKAGE at checkout, and proceed to collect on an awesome deal. Or just follow one of the links on sexualdarkage.com. And if you like surfing on your smartphone, be sure to check out Adam and Eve's new mobile site. Yes, you too can buy dildos right from your iPhone now, thanks to Adam and Eve. Greetings and welcome to episode 47. Fair warning, everyone, Shara is being sassy this evening.
I don't know what you mean by sassy. I'm just in a very good mood. It's a full moon. You know what happens on a full moon?
Lots of things happen.
Lots of things. Yep. Lots of sex, everything.
So we're going to start the show off with a little bit of fun.
Oh, a little bit of fun? That always usually means trouble for me.
Is a listener sent me a request that I think I'm honor bound to fulfill. I did mention on a past episode that maybe, just maybe, you could get someone's birthday spanking so they didn't have to. And tonight, just so you can sit on that ass for the rest of the show, we're going to begin the show with Tim's birthday spankings. Can I get a round of applause?
Oh, sure. Thank you, Tim.
She means that, really. She means that sincerely. So, I'm going to put down the headphones for a second, and we're going to reorganize ourselves a little. Baby, why don't you go bend over the table?
Over the table, okay.
Yes. Love having a microphone with a boom on it.
I do not.
All right, no, baby. That's not going to work because your ass isn't close enough to the microphone.
Okay, how's that?
Okay.
You certainly want Tim to hear
we're
them.
going to do a quick test spank here. Oh, yeah, we got it. Okay. So that did count as one because I'm nice.
You are. So nice. How old is Tim?
That's 10.
How old is Tim?
You're going to find out when we're done.
Okay.
That's 20.
Holy cow, I hope he's 21.
Wow, you're getting wet. Oh, wait, excuse me. Hang on a second. There we go. And there's the first uncontrollable blush. And as we continue... Oh, that's 30.
Okay, is he 31?
Did I tell you Tim was making the request for his grandfather? Nah, I'm just kidding. We're almost done. Wow, that ass is getting nice and red.
I'm sure it is. It feels nice and hot.
32, 33, 34.
Happy birthday, Tim. Ouch.
Well, that was fun.
It was so much fun. I just hope that the 80, 90-year-old people that are listening don't call in for birthday request spankings.
All right, so next up, we're going to touch back on something we talked about last episode.
Okay.
How's that ass doing, baby?
It's sore.
Yeah.
It's nice and warm. Yeah.
Well, see, and I use my hand instead of using a toy. You should be thankful for that.
Oh, I'm very thankful.
You're welcome. I'm getting the laser eyes right now. Every man knows the laser eyes.
I think I need a cushion on this chair.
Would you like to get one?
I'm okay right now.
Okay.
But I might say, okay, wait. I'll be right back.
All right, so we're going to touch back real quick on something we talked about last episode, Herman the German's painful boners. Heard from our medical advisor who had a couple different suggestions and actually mentioned that one of our suggestions is not the greatest idea, which is possibly going to the emergency room. And on further thought, this really makes perfect sense. But basically, the medical advisor said, if you do go to an emergency room with something like a natural boner that just happens to hurt, you're going to sit around long enough that it's going to be gone before the doctor sees you anyway. They're going to tell you to go see a urologist, and then they're going to send you a big fat bill for the privilege. So he said, regardless, a painful erection is definitely something to see a doctor about. It can be caused by several different kinds of diseases. Pyrenees disease, I think, is one that he mentioned, which I'll put a link to in the show notes. And that is not real severe, but requires surgical intervention. And it's also possible to have penile trauma, which he thankfully translated right into broke dick syndrome, which means, if you slammed a hard dick too hard into anything at any point, especially, think back, Herman, if anything bad happened to your cock right before this started happening, because you can have damage to the corpus cavernosum, aka the big hard balloon, that can cause pain. If there's something wrong with it, it can cause pain when it is full of blood.
So you better be careful when you're, having sex with me, not to.
I'm always careful, baby. It's not like I ever slipped out and slammed into your hip bone or something.
No, but you ram it in there pretty hard. So. Not that I mind.
Asked me to. Yeah. Oh.
No, that's just the cheeks going up to the other cheeks.
Well, I wasn't spanking those cheeks, though.
Yes, but they're just flowing on up there.
So the medical advisor said, even if you don't have insurance, even if you end up, having to choke down a couple $100 doctor bill for a urologist visit, it is definitely worth it, and it's better than waiting until something is severely wrong.
And you do not normally need a referral to go to a urologist, except if you have like an HMO plan or something like that.
Right. No, I think what he was saying is all the ER is going to do.
Right.
He's going to tell you to go to the
Right. But I'm saying that he doesn't necessarily have to go to his family doctor to go to the
absolutely.
To the urologist. You can go straight to the urologist, just depending on your insurance, if you have insurance and so forth, to save yourself a little bit of, copay or office visit money there. But make sure you go to a, good urologist, which you can, easily find out about who to go to.
All right, so next we have another question from Shy Kitty, who has a burning dildo, unfortunately. She writes, "It's Shy Kitty again. I had a toy question. I have this silicone dildo with a suction cup that won't stick to the wall. It is an 8-incher, I believe, and I've had it for a while. I haven't used it much, and there's a good reason for it. Every time I use this particular toy, I end up hurting myself. It's not the size. I take that just fine with enough lube. The problem is, as I start to get into my playtime, the toy starts to hurt me, much like, what one would imagine putting Icy Hot up there in your girl parts would feel like. And, fucking ouch. Some of the time I'm so into getting off that I ignore the uncomfortable feelings. Other times I have to stop. Either way, after I'm done with playtime, I have to wash out my girl parts because the uncomfortableness turns to pain. I have to run water to get all the lube out, and the cool water helps. However, even 10 minutes after rinsing out, I'm still in pain. I don't understand why this is, as I know I'm not allergic to silicone. I've used other silicone toys without a problem, and I know that I'm okay with the lube. Any ideas on what could be up with this cursed toy? I want to like it so much, but it just doesn't like me." So I want to start by referring back to episode 8, which was our sex toys episode. We talk a lot about what we're going to touch on briefly here, and there's also some links back in episode 8. But all sex toys are not created equal. Mm-hmm. It is unfortunate that a lot of them are made overseas in conditions that are not particularly quality controlled. Mm-hmm. From the same factories that bring you poison toothpaste and whatnot. So it is entirely possible that a low grade of silicone or an impure silicone or something like that was used in any given toy.
And that's why we need more dildo worlds out there. Because,
we do.
See, I would be
Because you wouldn't have any of that shit.
No, I would not. Honestly, I would not. Because that's
customer
important.
Would come in and slap a big rubber dick on the counter and say, "This thing burns my pussy. I want my money back." And we would give her
I'd give her her money back. And that's what I actually think that you should do is say, I think there's something wrong with this product because, I don't have any other issues. Honestly, I wouldn't use it anymore. In my honest opinion.
Yeah, no. If it is causing any kind of a reaction, if you're not allergic to silicone, it's not going to be a classical allergic reaction, but it could be a chemical reaction. Low quality sex toys, and the price you paid for it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the quality. Some dildos are made for $1 and they sell them for $49.99. So
right.
If it was cheaply produced or was made using shoddy materials, it could be any one of a number of chemical agents that you're having a bad reaction to, and just don't use it anymore. I mean, if you really love it, put a condom on it. But usually we say, any sex toy you got to put a condom on. You probably shouldn't have around anyway.
Right. And I mean, honestly, I don't know how long you had it, and if I tend to be a shy person, but with something like that, I'd say, JV, let's go back and take it back. I would. Seriously, I would, because it's a product that I think that
I'm going to let that shy comment just slide right on by. I mean, I wanted to throw a flag on it, but continue.
Go ahead. Throw a flag.
You're not shy.
Oh, I most certainly am. You bring out the, the good part of me that, I love people and we know that. So, but I am. I'm shy. I am. I know it's hard to believe out there, but I really am.
Well, actually, the first time I took her to Dildo World, and I think I talked about this in episode 8.
Well, it wasn't Dildo World. We call it that, but
right.
My Dildo World is my
right.
Dildo World.
But the first time I took you to the dildo store.
Here you go.
It was hilarious because you were all bashful about it. You were, so I gotta take it back because you were like all bashful about it and like, you didn't want to go in there. And we walk in the store and her eyes went all wide and she's like, "What?"
I can have anything in here I want.
And she was in there for an hour. And I'm not even exaggerating that. We were there for an hour and she changed her mind 25 times, but it was just fun to watch because you were literally a kid in a candy store or a slut in a dildo store.
That's why when I have my Dildo World, I want women, when they come in there, to go, ooh, ah, and have that same expression and know that they're going to walk out with A, a good product, and B, that they're going to enjoy that toy and C, they're going to be happy. Because if they're not happy, they can come back.
And one other thing that Shy Kitty mentioned with this one is the suction cup on the bottom, which I want to address for a second, because those are notoriously shitty.
Yes.
Especially the bigger toys that have suction cups on the bottom, the material that a toy is made out of is not really ideal suction cup material, and often those things will only work on a very smooth surface, like a single piece of tile or glass or really smooth lacquered wood or something like that.
Right. I had a white, well, it's kind of more clear, but it was white and it was waterproof and it was the same, it was very large and it was battery powered, and you never saw that one, I do not believe, because for the same reason I had trouble with the suction cup on it. It was very heavy because it was long and it was thick. So it was one that I liked if I was laying in bed or laying down and, I could do that. But to use it in the shower, it just didn't work out. However, I did not have any situation where the burning and that. Yeah. I never had that.
Yeah, but that is a very strong indication that you should never use that toy again and probably never buy anything from the company that made it again. Because they're probably utilizing the same crappy manufacturing practices.
Could be. Or if nothing else, just something that doesn't agree with her.
Yeah, and on the suction cups, the other thing that tends to work against them is because they're generally the same material that the toy is made out of, which is not ideal suction cup material. Even if they do work a little bit, which they probably will, the toy is often too heavy. Or, like if you're putting on a table or something and riding it like it's a cock, you are putting a lot of, whether you intend to or not, you're putting a lot of lateral force on it, and you would have to have a pretty strong suction cup in order to hold that down. So,
that would probably be my problem.
Yeah, and there are actually the air pump suction cups, like for the shower handles. In fact, those were pioneered for people who worked with glass, so they could move the sheets of glass around more easily. And that's just a cheaper version of the ones that are used for glass. Many people have seen them in, like Mission Impossible movies and shit. But glass guys actually use those all the time. And I wonder what it would take to integrate one of those into a sex toy. Because those things, you pop that thing down onto a table or a decent piece of tile or something, they aren't going anywhere.
I don't know. Have to check it out for Dildo World, that's for sure.
Yeah, maybe as Johnny Cash said, we get a little help from an adapter kit.
Mm-hmm.
Don't listen to Johnny Cash on my iPod at work lately.
Really? Yeah. Kind of surprises me about you.
Why? My musical tastes are very diverse.
I know they are, but it just kind of surprises me.
I mean, it's mostly metal most of the time, but it's not all metal all the time.
I think I'll spend a day with you when you're on the floor there and you're welding, and I'll just put the other earpiece in and listen to all your music.
If you would like to do that, you are welcome to.
I just might.
You're going to have to wear a welding helmet.
I'll do that.
Okay.
I have welding helmet hair for a day.
I bet you that would drive you mad.
No, I don't think so.
No?
No. Not as long as I knew we were coming back here and we were going to have sex and you love me no matter what, so I'm
True.
good. Yeah. Maybe I'll just bring the welding helmet back and you can fuck me in it.
I'm game.
I know you are.
I never fucked a woman in a welding helmet.
Nah,
I
there's
fucked
another
you
first.
On a giant steel table once.
I know.
That was fun. But
It
I was
sure
not
was.
wearing a welding helmet. Neither were you.
No. So that'll be 2 firsts. You wear one and then I wear one. Different times.
Well, it's got to be different times.
Because I don't want our heads to hit, and I could see that happening.
Oh, well,
Sparks will fly.
You don't want to be bent over anyway.
I don't know. I was pretty bent over the other day. Yeah, okay. Next.
Well, you're always so in such a rush to move on to the next topic every time that bell rings.
I'm just,
Your cheeks are so rosy red. Are your other cheeks still rosy red?
I'm pretty sure they are.
Wait, I think Tim would want me to double check your ass to see if it's still nice and red, because it's been like 10 to 12 minutes. Oh, we still got some red spots here. That's for you, Tim.
That's not where the red spot is.
No, that's where the wet spot is where I'm checking right now. All right, so next we have a message that we got from Davian. And he included some personal email or some personal information that I have redacted out of here. It's going to be pertinent to something I'm going to be talking about, that he has a Native American last name, because it's something I'm going to work in there. But he writes, I have the same love of women that you do. Everything about them makes me happy or excited. I only have one problem, and I'm not even sure it's a problem. Okay, I have 2 problems, but one thing at a time. My problem is I'm only really attracted to 1 or 2 types of women. Thin and athletic and pale, or if tanned, it has to be native in origin, meaning Native American, Pacific Islander, etc. I don't know if this is a problem, but where it becomes one is I will meet an awesome woman and feel guilty about not being attracted to her and either end up in bed with her or hurting her feelings. I've stopped dating due to this, because I can't seem to attract the women I am attracted to, and the ones I do attract, I'm not attracted to. My other problem is related to this. I have no more confidence with women than a terrified 14-year-old boy. I know I am decent to good in bed, as many of my exes come to me when they are single and want a good romp in the sack. I'm a bit tired of just being a good lay for my exes, and I'd like to start branching out into feeling satisfied myself. So I have several things I want to say on this. Would you have anything that jumps to mind that you want to say first?
Oh, I'm going to let you go first on this. I do, but since you already have, I don't want to interfere with your thought process. So
Okay.
Jump in and then I'll...
Well, first I want to address the confidence problem, because I think that feeds into the difficulty attracting the kind of women that you want.
Mm-hmm.
One characteristic that is shared by virtually everyone who is successful at dating, and this comes from confidence, but it also can create confidence. is being willing to be shot down. You don't get successful at you don't become successful at getting laid unless you are willing to be shot down. And a fear of being shot down is at the root of a lot of people's confidence problems with dating, both men and women. You don't want to be you don't want to feel like, you don't want to feel unattractive, you don't want to feel undesirable, you don't want those negative emotions that can come along with a rejection. So you end up not taking the risk, which just leads to being alone and being bored and miserable. So I have always, well, not always, but since my late teens, I should say, I have never had a problem being rejected.
Me either. I was just thinking about that, and
yeah, it just doesn't bother me because it's a mindset. Well, let me see if I can water down the way I look at it. When it comes to, somebody that you might want to date or might want to fuck, if you make your play and you get shot down, your end result is that person doesn't want to go out with you.
Mm-hmm.
If you never say anything, the result is that person doesn't want to go out with you. So, I mean, the only opportunity you have for better than zero is to take the risk. And it can, if you have confidence problems, it can also be difficult talking to people. And again, all this goes for men and women. Women or guys in a lot of cases, I think, don't appreciate the amount that women wring their hands about not being able to get the guy that they want or being intimidated to actually go after him. And I think there are more things that play into the female point of view because of the way we raise girls in this country, that they're not supposed to be the romantic aggressors, much less the sexual aggressors.
Well, then that's true. Yes. I mean, that's how I was raised. And, I was very fortunate, though. And whoever I seemed to be attracted to was also attracted to me. So I didn't really ever have to worry about that.
Right. And but as far as the dating confidence problem, really, I think the best answer is to bite the bullet and go outside your comfort zone and ask, go up and start a conversation. Conversation starters are real difficult, and a lot of people make the mistake of trying to use cheesy, contrived pickup lines. The irony of pickup lines is that in order to use one and get it to work, you have to have enough game that you probably didn't need it in the first place. You got to be really smooth to pick women up with actual pickup lines. It's far more effective to just start a conversation out of the blue.
Mm-hmm.
You're better off just introducing yourself. Starting conversations can be the easiest thing in the world. And this is something that guys especially do not do very often. And I'm speaking obviously about, trying to pick up on women. Compliment her hair. And don't be cheesy about it. Don't be stupid about it. Just a nice, honest compliment. And, just work it into a conversation starter. Like, hey, I really love that shade of red. Is that natural or is that something you came up with yourself? Because women aren't embarrassed about dyeing their hair. We all know women dye their hair. Some women change their hair color, not as much as they change outfits, but I mean, it's a fashion statement. So it's not, some big shock. You're not going to insult a woman by insinuating that perhaps her hair is a custom color.
And honestly, I used to get that when I worked at the hospital. I used to get that a lot from physicians when I'd get on the elevator, because of the color that I had in my hair. They always asked me if it was real. Is it all natural, or, did you have your hair done that way?
Yeah, or you can say, I love your blouse. It reminds me of fucking whatever. It reminds me of this trip I took to wherever, and or
well, and
that color looks really good on you, or so be genuine. The most important thing is to be genuine, because if you're too far outside your comfort zone, you're going to come off as fake.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as you come off as fake, you basically lost. So you're better off keeping it simple and being genuine.
And I had a male friend looking for some advice about picking up some different women and just wanting to have a serious relationship instead of just a goof off type, go to bed with them and then that's a few times and then that's it. And one of the suggestions that I gave him was, do you do your own grocery shopping? And he said, yes, I do. And I said, so one of my suggestions to you is when you're at the grocery store, if you see somebody that you're attracted to, not all women wear wedding rings if they're married, but, you start a conversation with them over, over the fruit or the vegetables, or, oh my gosh, I can't believe that there's not a single good head of lettuce here, whatever.
Yeah, and you can actually do it. I mean, obviously, you see somebody you're attracted to in a given aisle. You're going to find a reason to have a question about something in that aisle. And
it's
just
so
like,
easy.
Hey, have you ever tried this? Because the person might have tried it. They're standing there shopping in the same place where it's on the shelf.
I get people asking me all the time. And so that's what, and it had happened to me that day when this gentleman asked me. And so I said, well, what happened to me today? I said, when I think back, I get questions all the time. Sometimes it'll be, now I think about it, women. I never thought about it before because, she felt comfortable asking me or whatever. But, sometimes it's, you'll see a person reaching and she can't reach it. And if you think she's kind of hot, then go grab it and help her and hand it to her, because that happened to me a couple times because I'm short. And so, me on the top shelf. Like you made fun of me today. But anyways.
Well, I only pick on you a little.
A lot. But anyway.
You're vertically challenged. It's not your fault.
It wouldn't be so bad if I at least had a little longer arms. But anyway, so that's just one thought. There's, if you have a wingman that you can trust, then, obviously going to a restaurant/bar where you could either be having drinks or dinner, and sometimes I've had people say, you look extremely familiar to me. Do you, live in this area or whatever? All kinds of different easy questions that, like you said, conversation pieces to get things going.
Yeah. And it is important to say too, one key piece in piquing interest in the opposite sex is to keep your cool. Mm-hmm. The more you are able to make it seem like you're having a great time talking to them or whatever,
yep.
But, it's really not that big of a deal to you one way or the other if they're interested in you. Mm-hmm. Being able to ride that fine line is also very important. And that, that takes some practice. But really, the key is not giving a shit. It's being willing to crash and burn and walk away from a flame out and just say,
And one of the other things that a lot of people with self-confidence issues happens is over-talking. So,
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, because I tend to be the nervous type. If a guy came up and was talking to me and I was really interested in him, I'd find myself, talking too much about me and not bringing it back to him.
Yeah, and if you find yourself talking for too long of a stretch, one of the best things you can do when you first meet somebody, even the instant after you meet them, is, just if you can get a conversation started, ask simple questions. Yeah, so what are you doing in town? Or, not do you come here often, but, but see, that line did come out of somewhere. I mean, it has its roots in a good conversation starter. Right. It just became a cliche.
Yes. And the other thing is let that person do more of the talking. You ask the question, yes, and then you listen. And then out of them talking, you should be able to pull out another question from the part that they're bringing. You should be able to pull out another question to ask them. So you're the listener and they're the speaker. So therefore, you're not overselling yourself, which can tend to happen. And then, at the end of the evening, it's been great talking to you. I'd love to see you again, talk to you sometime, and get their number. And
well, you can also, especially if it's in like a bar situation, you can do the early eject, which is a tried and true method as well. And you get something going and you say, especially if you strike up a conversation while you're waiting for a bartender to make you a drink, because that's a good window. Obviously, you're going to be standing there for a minute, but you're going to be leaving too. If you, once you get the hook baited and the hook sets, you just say, yeah, well, it was great talking to you. I'd love to buy you a drink. Feel free to join me over at the table, or feel free to join me and my friends, or, whatever you got going on. So if you do the bailout, that'll force them to decide whether they're interested or not and get into the aggressive role.
Well, true. However, like if he's with a group of friends, that person might also be shy and might not feel comfortable going over.
That's true. Yeah. Well, it's a little riskier.
But what you could do is say, I'd love to introduce you to my friends. Come on over, and let me introduce you if you get a chance. you know. But me, on the other hand, I'm not giving up my spot at the bar because, you know, that bartender, that bartender, he's going to keep serving me. Or she is.
But yeah, so we're, so that's, I think we pretty much already summarized that.
I think that though he does have a few choices he's given a couple different, variety, I guess I would say, of women's type.
Yeah, coming back to something I alluded to at the beginning of talking about this. And that is, in this particular case, you've got an awesome Native American last name. I mean, you really do. You have an awesome last name to start a conversation. And, you know, whether you know the true history of it in your family, whether it's something that's got meaning or if it was passed to you, you know, without, or with, as part of your lineage, but, you know, didn't have any particular meaning for you, it's still an excellent conversation starter. So I would use that.
And, you know, there's a lot of museums.
If I had a last name like that, I'd be getting laid with it.
Baby, it doesn't matter with you. You'd be getting laid no matter what. So yes, definitely.
Ooh, nice nipples.
But there's also a lot of Native museums which tend to bring out Native women. So
that's an excellent point.
You know, if you're interested in it and you have a way of just bringing out a conversation because of your name and then their name.
Yeah,
you know.
Work the Native heritage. Mm-hmm. That's pretty slick.
Well,
you're more likely to find women who have the same kind of skin tone you're attracted to, and you
mm-hmm.
have an immediate conversation starter.
Mm-hmm. So there's, like, we just had one built not too far from us. So it might be an hour. But I mean, for him, he probably has one in his area. All you have to do is Google it and, you know, closest one to your area.
Yeah, so as far as being attracted to one particular type or to a very narrow range of types.
No big deal.
Yeah, that's not even unusual. Actually.
I used to be teased that I had a friend that teased me about how much I liked Italian men. And the one gentleman that I hooked up with for quite a while, I did think he looked Italian, but he wasn't. He was Polish. So it was, you know, kind of funny.
But yeah, whether we realize it or not, we all have certain types that we are more or less attracted to.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like in your case, it's a very strong preference for a certain type, but that's just there on the scale. I mean, it's not anything that's real out of the ordinary. There are plenty of guys, plenty of girls they've been married 2 or 3 times, and if you lined up mug shots of everybody they've been married to, you would see a striking resemblance whether they realized it or not. We all have types. For you, it's thin and pale. For me, it's red hair in a variety of shapes and sizes, but red hair is actually awesome. And Shara's got a pretty good shade of red going right now that she is going to be getting improved very shortly, which I'm a big fan of.
Yes, in about a week.
Yes.
So, yes.
Looking forward to seeing the new color.
I am too,
bobbing
actually.
Up and down in my lap.
I am too, on that note as well.
But yeah, so it sounds like, Davian, your biggest issue is just the confidence. I mean, you've got to be seeing women that you are attracted to. So it seems like you're fishing in the wrong part of the pond. If you're consistently in situations where you start hitting it off with women who aren't your type, I think you just need to maybe start fishing somewhere different or take more of an active role. And it will take you time. I'm not suggesting you're going to be able to go out tomorrow and, put to use everything that we mentioned here today, so it'll take some time, but work at building your confidence, work on blowing off rejection, because that is really the key thing that will liberate you and free you when you do see the women you're attracted to come up with an approach and at least start a conversation with.
And I'm going to tell you, with my Pink Mafia group, we, I tell them all the time, because a lot of them lack self-confidence, and believe it or not, I'm shy, but I feel comfortable enough telling them that I fought that every single day for a very long time. So I'm now at the point, and I give you a lot of credit, and I told you this actually the other day, for my self-confidence and the growth that I have received in it, because I don't care anymore. I don't care what somebody thinks about me. I don't care if they don't like the color of my hair.
Remember you used to worry about what the neighbors thought?
Don't care.
Took me about 6 years to break you of that one.
Now he says, "Oh wow, the neighbors heard."
Neighbors.
Yeah, they all heard you today. And he's right. I don't care anymore. But I mean,
actually, the other day, people in the next building probably heard you should have. I mean, really, you're obviously in the middle of having machine gun orgasms, so you're not really paying attention to the sound. But I mean, it gets fucking loud sometimes. It's awesome.
I said it on Facebook. I mean, lately we've just been like, wow, it's been like extra dynamite. It's been, whew, can't even just. I get excited just thinking about it. Anyway, but I do tell these women, you are worthy of everything that somebody else has. And you are no different than any other human being out there. We are different in our own ways, but we are all worthy of everything that everybody else has. So go out there. Do not, be afraid to, and go out there and say, I am worthy of this, and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to get it, and, go after it. Yes, the first one might say no thanks, and that's okay, because you're not going to like every single woman that comes up to you, and that's okay. It's no offense. It's just not going to happen. But the chemistry is there. I mean, the chemistry between you and I is phenomenal. When we are like having sex, it is like nothing else even matters. But we also have respect for each other outside of the sexual realm. So I'm just saying that I think you ought to go out there and just enjoy yourself, because life is too short, and go out there and enjoy yourself and just have a good time, because that's what life's all about.
Yep. Crash and burn, my man. Crash and burn as many times as it takes.
And let us know, get back with us and let us know how it's going. Keep us updated and let us know what worked for you and didn't work.
Yes, and we are always happy to hear back and hear updates
and use us as the guideline. Say, I have to write this down to report on the sex episode.
That's a little out there, but that's actually a workable idea. Yeah, feel free to use us.
Use us. Go ahead. Use us.
If there's anything we can do to help you or anyone else out in the audience get laid, feel free to let us know.
We'll
even give people spankings for you.
you need us to be your wing people. You call us. We'll be there.
All right, so is there anything else you'd like to say before we wrap up this episode?
Oh, let me think. I can't think because my butt's still warm.
Oh, yeah, gotta do a butt check.
Oh, okay. Standing.
All right. Well, you got to bend over. Wait, I got to turn the light on here so I got a good view. Wait, let me check there.
I knew you were going to do that.
Wait, that's not the spot. That's the spot.
Yes, and the other spot felt it too.
I bet it did.
It did.
And I could close out the show with spanks for the memories, but you did already get a spanking today.
I sure. A spanking?
Yeah.
Many spankings.
No, that was one spanking. That wasn't even that much of it. That was only 34 whacks.
Each individual one, I consider that to be a spanking, and I would like a vote on that.
Well.
Let's open up to the wall post people. Please let me know. Am I wrong or?
Yes, and they will all flock out to support you as usual.
That's not true. Oh my gosh. That's not true.
One smack is not an entire spanking. You did not get 34 entire spankings today.
I feel like I did. So, but, hey, I have to do what I have to do for the people out there,
That's right.
They come in, they listen to us. It's the least I could do. So, glad to do it.
You enjoyed it.
I did. I'm nice and wet. What can I say?
It was fun for me, too.
We are trying to schedule something with the swing set.
Yes. Hopefully,
end of August, I think.
Yep, we're going to shoot for the end of August to record, so we'll have the entire swing set menagerie on Ending the Sexual Dark Age for what promises to be a fun-filled episode as always. Those guys are a lot of fun.
They are a ton of fun, so I enjoy it.
So that pretty much wraps us up for today. And,
yes.
As usual, Shara and I are available on Facebook, Twitter, more Facebook than anywhere else. As well as FetLife, and her email is jvshara@gmail.com. Mine is jvaltaras@gmail.com. Feel free to send us your complaints, questions, ramblings, tirades, insults, whatever.
Whatever. We're easygoing.
Yes, and we always do appreciate positive reviews and feedback on iTunes, or positive ratings and feedback on iTunes. It really does do a good job of helping the show get out to more people, and we have a pretty phenomenal feedback rating, especially in comparison to some of our competitors. So,
and I do want to say that
we makes a pervert's heart, swell up in my chest and stuff.
Oh, we do have another podcaster that was from our area and then moved out of state and is back. So I'm glad to have him and his family back here.
Yep.
So,
dear friends returning to the state.
Yep. It's great to do that. And everybody, thank you for listening. We really appreciate trying to make a difference out there.
Yep, and until next time, this be me, JV Altheros, reminding you that sex is one of the greatest things in life, and there is always room for better.